Nvidia have released their revenue figures for the third quarter of the fiscal year 2016, and well, it's looking pretty damn impressive with a record revenue of $1.3 billion, which is actually up 13% from the same quarter last year. And with a GAAP diluted net income of $246 million, and the company also posted an earnings per share of 0.44 or 44 cents for this quarter. So basically things are looking pretty damn good with some really strong financials for Nvidia. At the time of recording, the company's stock is trading at $27.71 with a market capitalization of $15.11 billion. The share price has been up 20% this quarter, starting from $23. Now, as you'd expect from Nvidia, the GPU side of things is the primary driver behind these results. This includes the GeForce division as well as the Quadro and Tesla divisions, and over $1.1 billion in revenue is accounted for by this particular side of the business. This side of Nvidia saw a healthy growth of 16% quarter over quarter and 12% year over year, both of which I'm sure we can agree are pretty good indicators. The GeForce side of things saw a healthy growth of 40% year over year and 15% sequentially, bringing in a revenue of $761 million. The professional visualization or Quadro side of things was up 8% and down 8% year on year at $190 million. The data center side of things, say the Tesla and the Grid, were also up 13% sequentially but down 8% year over year at $82 million. And the Tegra SBU accounted for $129 million on the revenue, and while it was up 1% quarter over quarter, it had actually declined significantly, 23% year over year. And apparently the reason for this is that the decline reflects the end of life for OEM smartphones and tablets which featured older variants of Tegra. As for licensing revenue, that actually remained flat at $66 million. And to finish things up, the quarterly cash dividend saw an increase of 18%, and the company has already returned an aggregate of $604 million to shareholders in the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year 2016, and is aiming to take the amount up to an impressive $800 million by the end of the year. So that's the facts and figures that we have so far, and now to finish up in a nice round fashion, we have the outlook for the fourth quarter of this fiscal year. Revenue is expected to be about 1.30 plus or minus 2%. GAAP words and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be about 56.7 and 57.0 respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. And GAAP operating expenses are expected to be about $503 million, and non-GAAP expenses are expected to be approximately $445 million. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these GAAP outlook amounts do exclude restructuring charges, which are expected to be in the range of 25 to 35 million, so that is worth taking into consideration. Ins and outs aside though, the main thing you need to keep in mind is that the revenue was $1.3 billion, up 13%, as I said at the start of the video. So things are looking pretty impressive, only increasing for Nvidia, and it seems they expect it to remain at this particular rate. Of course, whether or not it does, well, as always, Doctor Who is nowhere to be found. Still interesting stuff. I will hunt and see if I can find some figures for AMD. And of course, if I do find them, I will let you know. But of course, every company's fiscal year does differ, so we might have had them a little while ago, or we might not be seeing them for a while, or we might be seeing them in like 2 days. Your guess is as good as mine, but of course I will update you as soon as it becomes available. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.